The drama series begins in a small town named Hawkins. The opening scene is set in November 1983. Inside Hawkins National Laboratory, a scientist is seen running for his life, absolutely terrified. He reaches the elevator, but before the doors can close, something unseen suddenly grabs him from above and pulls him away, leaving behind only fear and mystery. In the next scene, we are introduced to four friends who are the main characters of the story: Mike, Will, Dustin, and another close friend. They're gathered at Mike's house, playing a board game, enjoying their time together. However, their fun is cut short when Mike's mom arrives and asks them to stop playing. Respecting her request, the boys wrap up their game and begin heading home. As they leave, Dustin briefly interacts with Mike's elder sister, Nancy. He tries to greet her, but she completely ignores him, showing no interest in talking. It's nighttime now, and the boys are cycling back to their respective homes in the darkness. Will is alone on his bike when he suddenly sees the black shadow of something mysterious and terrifying. Confused and scared, Will quickly rides away as fast as he can. But in his panic, he loses control and his bike skids. Will falls off and, fearing for his life, abandons the bicycle. He runs and finds refuge in a nearby house. Inside, he finds a gun, and trembling with fear, he points it at the door, preparing to defend himself from whatever is out there. But before anything happens, Will too vanishes without a trace. The following morning, we are shown Will's mother, Joyce, and his elder brother, Jonathan. While discussing things at home, they realize that Will never returned the night before. The reason they didn't notice earlier is because both of them were working night shifts. Deeply worried, Joyce calls Mike's house to ask if Will had stayed over. Mike's mom tells her no, Will left the previous night. This revelation sends Joyce into a panic. She yells at Jonathan, blaming him for not informing her about working late. Jonathan tries to comfort her, saying that Will be found soon and not to panic. But Joyce, growing more anxious by the minute, heads straight to the police station to report Will's disappearance. The police chief of Hawkins is a man named Hopper. He's a longtime friend of Joyce. Trying to calm her down, he suggests that Will may have gone to visit a relative or possibly his father. After all, Hawkins is a small, quiet town with barely any crime. Nevertheless, taking Joyce's concern seriously, Hopper begins an investigation to locate Will. The following day, we see Mike, Dustin, and Lucas at school, hoping Will might have shown up. In a separate scene, Nancy is shown chatting with her friend about Steve, a popular and attractive college boy they're interested in. Meanwhile, back at the Hawkins lab, a man named Dr. Brenner arrives, the lab's main director. He begins inspecting the facility following the disappearance of the scientist. There, he discusses an alarming issue. Something had come out of a strange dimensional gateway, possibly a portal. As a result, the eastern wing of the lab was sealed for an hour to ensure the creature couldn't escape. Dr. Brenner then asks about a girl who went missing. It turns out that amidst the chaos, a girl had managed to escape the lab. This girl later appears at a roadside diner, starving. The kind owner of the place offers her food. She looks strange and mysterious, and when he asks her name, she replies with one word: 11. The owner is baffled. He has never heard of someone named after a number. He tries asking where she's from and who she is, but 11 remains mostly silent, barely able to speak more than a few words. Later, the owner, out of concern, contacts the local police so that they can take the girl somewhere safe. But while he's waiting, 11 uses her mind to turn off a table fan, just by looking at it. This confirms she has supernatural abilities. The next day, Hopper visits the boys at school. He informs them that Will has been missing since the previous night and asks them if they know anything. On the other hand, the team from Hawkins Lab receives a tip from the police about a strange girl, clearly 11, at the diner. They arrive at the location, but by the time they get there, 11 has already escaped. Tragically, they kill the diner owner to cover their tracks. Meanwhile, Hopper and his deputies are out searching for Will. During the search, they discover Will's bicycle. Elsewhere, Joyce is shown talking with her ex-husband. It's revealed that her home phone is being tapped and monitored. That night, a search party is organized to comb the area for Will. Secretly, Mike, Dustin, and Lucas also head out to search for their missing friend. During their exploration, they unexpectedly come across 11. At the same time, something very strange happens at Joyce's home. Her phone rings. She answers, but there's only static and strange sounds on the line. Amid the distortion, she hears Will's breathing and his faint voice. Joyce is sure it's her son trying to contact her. But before she can speak further, the phone shorts out and dies due to a strange electrical surge. Since it's late, Mike decides to bring 11 home. He sneaks her into his basement and hides her there. Communicating mostly through gestures, 11 tells him that she is being chased by bad people. A friendship begins to blossom between them. Soon, Mike and his friends discover that 11 has special powers. While staying with Mike, 11 sees a photo on the wall and identifies Will. She points to him, indicating she knows who he is. Although she can't say much, it becomes clear to the boys that 11 might know where Will is and what happened to him. She conveys that Will is hiding somewhere to escape a monster. Meanwhile, Joyce explains to Hopper about the mysterious phone call she received. She tells him that there were inhuman growling noises on the line and that she clearly heard Will's breath and voice. Hopper is skeptical. He thinks she might be imagining things and dismisses her concern. He then heads to Will's father's place to see if Will went there. He finds out that Will never visited, which raises Hopper's suspicions that something serious might have happened. Back in the Hawkins lab, Dr. Brenner and his team are listening to recordings of Joyce's phone calls. It becomes obvious that the lab is deeply involved in Will's disappearance. Through flashbacks, we discover that Dr. Brenner is actually Eleven's father. He has been performing experiments on her for years, testing and developing her powers. That night, Nancy and her friend go to Steve's house for a party. During the party, Nancy's friend mysteriously vanishes, just like the missing scientist from earlier. At the same time, Jonathan, Will's brother, is out in the woods taking photographs of various locations. Unknowingly, he captures shots of Nancy and her friends at the party. Later, Joyce receives another call. This time, Will manages to whisper "Mom" in a weak voice before the phone explodes again. Soon after, bizarre events start happening around the house. The lights begin flickering erratically, strange sounds echo through the walls, and in Will's room, his favorite song starts playing on its own. All of this makes Joyce believe that Will is alive and trying to communicate with her. Then, something horrifying happens. A creature starts pushing through the wall. It has no face and appears monstrous. Terrified, Joyce runs outside and hides in her car. After gathering some courage, she returns home, but everything inside appears completely normal again. The wall shows no signs of damage. This only strengthens her belief that something paranormal is going on and that Will is reaching out to her. Elsewhere, Nancy begins to worry about her friend's disappearance, but chooses to keep it to herself. Meanwhile, Steve discovers that Jonathan had taken pictures of their party. In anger, Steve smashes Jonathan's camera and tears up the photographs. However, Nancy later gathers the torn pieces of the photos and puts them back together. In one of the reconstructed pictures, she sees something shocking, a terrifying monster standing right behind her missing friend. Determined to get answers, Nancy returns to Steve's house. There, she sees the same faceless monster that attacked her friend and the missing scientist. Somehow, Nancy manages to save herself from the monster and escapes. Meanwhile, on the other side, Joyce attempts to contact her missing son Will by using light signals. Surprisingly, she receives responses from him through the lights as well. At the same time, Hopper, during his investigation, starts suspecting that Hawkins' lab might be involved in Will's disappearance. Digging deeper, he learns about a woman who had previously filed a lawsuit against Dr. Brenner. She accused him of kidnapping her daughter to conduct experiments on her brain. However, that case was later dismissed, and not just that. Many of the inhumane experiments conducted at Hawkins' lab were eventually approved and quietly brushed under the rug. Back with the kids, Eleven uses her powers to tell Mike and his friends that Will is still alive and hiding inside his own house, but not in the same dimension. However, not long after this revelation, a body resembling Will is found in a lake. The town is informed that Will is dead. Mike becomes heartbroken and believes Eleven has lied to them. But shortly after, Eleven proves that Will is, in fact, still alive. She does this by channeling his voice through Mike's walkie-talkie, allowing them all to hear him. Despite everyone else accepting Will's apparent death, Joyce refuses to believe it. She is determined and continues to try contacting her son. Eventually, mother and son manage to speak over the phone. Will tells Joyce that he's trapped in the same place where Nancy's friend had been taken by the monster. He even talks about the monster itself. Joyce, shocked but composed, instructs Will to stay exactly where he is. A prayer meeting is held at the school in Will's memory. Eleven, after getting cleaned up, is also taken there. Using the school's powerful radio system, Eleven manages to hear the ongoing phone conversation between Joyce and Will. This confirmation helps Mike and his friends realize that everything Eleven has said is true. Will is still alive. Through more conversations with Eleven, the boys finally piece together the truth. Will is indeed hiding inside his own house, but in a parallel dimension. This dimension is called the Upside Down. The Upside Down is a dark, twisted mirror of their world, with the same layout and structure but shrouded in gloom and crawling with monstrous creatures. Humans don't live there, only deadly beings known as Demogorgons. The barrier between this terrifying dimension and the real world has been torn open. A gate now connects both worlds. That gate was created by an experiment gone wrong at Hawkins' lab. Through this breach, a Demogorgon entered their world and dragged Will into its own, trapping him in the Upside Down. Meanwhile, Nancy tells Jonathan, Will's brother, everything. She shows him the photo that led her to the Demogorgon, captured unknowingly by Jonathan himself. After hearing her and seeing the evidence, Jonathan starts believing in his mother's theory. He finally accepts that Will might still be alive. Determined to find Will and Nancy's missing friend, the two venture into the forest. While there, Nancy accidentally enters the Upside Down, but Jonathan manages to pull her back to safety. They return to Nancy's house. There, Steve sees them together and becomes jealous. Elsewhere, Hopper investigates the supposed body of Will. After close examination, he discovers something shocking. The body is fake. It's a dummy, not Will's real corpse. He rushes to Joyce's house and informs her of everything he has uncovered. Hopper now believes Dr. Brenner is deeply connected to this mystery and possibly to the Upside Down itself. To dig even further, Hopper and Joyce go to the house of the woman who had previously sued Dr. Brenner. They ask her about her daughter, and she reveals heartbreaking details. Dr. Brenner had taken her newborn daughter and kept her confined inside Hawkins' lab for experimentation. He falsely informed her that the child died at birth. In truth, her daughter is still alive, and she is none other than 11. To understand the science behind the Upside Down, the kids take their school's science teacher's help. He explains that opening a portal to another dimension requires an immense amount of energy. Once opened, the laws of time, space, gravity, and magnetism would be thrown into chaos. That's exactly what happened when Hawkins' lab created the gate. The result was the release of the Demogorgon. Learning all of this, Hopper decides to take a bold step. He secretly breaks into Hawkins' lab and manages to enter the Upside Down. He even returns alive, confirming everything. Meanwhile, the kids discover strange magnetic disturbances around them, further evidence that the gate is affecting their environment. They follow the clues and track down the exact location of the portal to the Upside Down. Mike, Dustin, 11, and Lucas begin their mission to find and rescue Will. However, along the way, 11 becomes frightened. Something spooks her deeply, and she intentionally misleads the group away from the true path. She later reveals that the portal they're looking for is inside Hawkins' lab, the same place where she endured unspeakable trauma. She doesn't want her friends to face what she did, so she diverts them to protect them. From this, the truth is revealed. 11 accidentally opened the gate to the Upside Down. She didn't intend to, but Dr. Brenner manipulated her into doing it during one of his experiments. One of Mike's friends begins to think 11 is lying and untrustworthy, leading to a heated argument between Mike and 11. Hurt and angry, 11 storms off. She goes into a store looking for food. When caught stealing, she uses her powers to escape from the store right in front of the stunned owner. Back with the boys, Mike, Dustin, and Lucas realize that 11 lied for their own good, to keep them safe. Understanding her true intentions, they begin searching for her again. But news of the incident at the store reaches Dr. Brenner, alerting him to 11's presence. Brenner and his team arrive at Mike's house to capture her, forcing the kids to flee. They find shelter by hiding inside an old school bus. Soon after, Hopper arrives and rescues them, bringing them safely to Joyce's house. Upon seeing 11, both Joyce and Hopper immediately recognize her as the daughter of the woman who filed the case against Dr. Brenner. Using 11's powers, they successfully pinpoint Will's location inside the Upside Down. Determined to rescue him, Joyce and Hopper go to Hawkins' lab. From there, they gain access to the Upside Down. But before they enter, Hopper is caught. Thinking fast, he strikes a deal with Dr. Brenner. He will give him 11's location and help keep the lab's secrets buried, in exchange for a chance to rescue Will. Brenner agrees and allows them entry. Meanwhile, Brenner and his team head to the school where the children are hiding, in a final attempt to capture 11. Elsewhere, Nancy and Jonathan learn a terrifying truth. The Demogorgon is drawn to the scent of blood. So, they decide to use this to their advantage. They create a trap in their house, hoping the Demogorgon will fall into it so they can destroy it. At the same time, Joyce and Hopper finally locate Will in the Upside Down. Meanwhile, the Demogorgon enters Nancy's house, following the scent. It attacks Nancy and Jonathan and nearly kills Jonathan. But just in time, Steve arrives and saves him. They manage to trap the monster, and Jonathan sets it on fire, seemingly killing it. Hopper and Joyce escape from the Upside Down with Will. He is unconscious but alive. Back at the school, Dr. Brenner finds 11. Suddenly, the Demogorgon appears at the school. In the chaos, 11 kills many of Brenner's soldiers using her powers. She grabs her friends and hides them in a classroom. The Demogorgon begins attacking and killing everyone from the lab who opened the portal. Even Dr. Brenner is killed by the creature. The monster eventually tracks down the kids in the classroom. With no other choice left to save her friends, 11 sacrifices herself. She uses her full power to destroy the Demogorgon, but in doing so, she vanishes along with it. Will is rescued and taken to the hospital. He is kept under observation for several days until he fully recovers. But not all is well. Sometime later, Will is shown vomiting in the sink. A strange insect-like creature comes out of his mouth. After this, Will briefly finds himself flashing into the Upside Down again. But he doesn't tell anyone about these terrifying experiences. He keeps them to himself. In the final scene, Hopper is seen leaving 11's favorite food, Eggos, in a hidden box in the woods. It's his quiet way of hoping that if 11 is still out there, she'll find the food, and he'll know she's alive.